Mr. President, what advice would you give for kids that want to become president one day?
I would give you the following advice. First of all, I would say study very hard in school and learn a lot about a lot of things. Develop your mind. It's not so important what you study, is that you learn to use your mind, because we're living in a world that's changing very rapidly. And you have to be able to think well and to reason well. Second thing I would say is get to know people. Try to figure out why people are so different. Try to figure out what makes people tick. Try to learn to respect people who have different views than you do and who come from different religious or ethnic backgrounds. See, because I wouldn't advise anybody to go into politics who doesn't like people and care about them. And the third thing I would say is work in campaigns. See how it works. Develop your mind, get to know people, work in campaigns. That's my advice.
Okay, thanks. And what did you want to be when you were 12?
When I was 12, I wanted to be a musician.
With the saxophone? Is that
With
what
saxophone,
you're
yes.
yeah.
I also had a very good voice when I was 12. I lost it later, but I had a real tenor voice, and I had a big range in my voice, and I loved music. So that's what I wanted to do.
So when did you get started in the saxophone?
I started playing when I was 9. I started on clarinet, and I wasn't very good at it, and I shifted to saxophone.
Okay. Well, education is really important for kids. How can you make sure that enough money is spent to give quality education to the students?
I think you have to do two things. First of all, the president has to be a supporter of education and has to create a climate in the country so that the states and the local school districts have the support from their people to raise the money they need for the schools. And secondly, as president, I can try to help set national goals for education and have national standards for education, and then get some more federal money to support things that are important for the schools. Like the national government should help pay for more kids in preschool programs. The national government should help make more college loans available and give young people more opportunities to go to college or to get job training if they don't go to college. Those are the two things I can do.
Well, how will your education plan attract the best people to become teachers?
Well, it will do a couple of things. First of all, it will make teaching more attractive by supporting improvements in education. And secondly, it will provide special incentives for people to pay off their college loans by teaching, especially in underserved areas.
Okay, would you ever consider sending Chelsea to public school?
Yeah, Chelsea always went to public school until this year. Chelsea went to public school from kindergarten through the first semester of her 8th grade year. She decided, we decided with her, but she was very interested in going to the school that she selected and that we selected, working with her in Washington, because there were some very special things about it, including a community service requirement. And because she wanted to be a regular kid and she wanted to have as much privacy as possible going to school. I think, she and we were a little concerned about that, but I would certainly consider doing it again because the first 8.5 years of her school were in public schools.
So it's just for security reasons and
not just security, for personal choice reasons of hers and ours, but I believe in the public school network. Washington has some very good public schools. We looked at one of them in particular very closely, and she always went to a public school in Little Rock, and we loved it, and she did quite well there.
Mr. President, kids are also very interested in the environment. What can you do to make the world cleaner?
Oh, I think there are several things. First of all, we can try to promote worldwide cleaner air. The best way to do that is to be a part of an international effort to stop the emission of greenhouse gases into the air. I've committed the United States to that. Secondly, we can try to preserve the plant and animal diversity of our planet, especially in the rainforests and in other places in the United States, and we're working on a global effort to do that. Thirdly, we can try to make sure that we clean up unsafe environmental hazards. I'll give you one example. We're trying to work with the Russian people because they have a lot of nuclear power plants that aren't very safe. And we want to help them clean up those power plants before something bad happens that could affect the environment of the world. So those are the things we can do worldwide to help.
So are you putting any money aside for the rainforest? Because kids at our school are very interested in saving the rainforest, and they've started funds too. Are you going to propose something to
Yes.
raise money?
Part of our biodiversity effort will be for the United States to join into a global effort to try to get, for example, big pharmaceutical companies to go into rainforests and do research on drugs that could cure cancer or AIDS or other kinds of problems. And in effect, work out arrangements where we can pay countries not to tear down the rainforest, but instead to open them up to medical research. I think that's the best idea. I can also tell you that I think another good thing to do would be for classes, students, to plant trees in their communities every year to try to offset the trees that are being torn down in other parts of the country. When I was governor of Arkansas, we started a program to plant 10 million trees a year for 10 years as our part in Arkansas of replacing the rainforest that was being torn down. So I think we should reforest more in America and then try to keep the rainforest from being torn down by making it profitable for these other countries to leave the forests up instead of tear them down.
So one choice that you might have an interest in making later on in the future is maybe having a tree program started all around the United States.
Absolutely, I think we should.
And what is family life like in the White House, and would you ever consider Chelsea to be president? Would you like her to be president?
Family life, in some ways it's easier for us than it was before because I live where I work. And my wife is working with me now, so we are all together more, a little more, although we're working very hard. But I get Chelsea up every morning just like I have all her life, and I come home for dinner at night, and we spend the weekends together. Yesterday we went to church together, then we went to an art gallery together, and then we played around and worked, did chores around the house yesterday afternoon, just like normal families do on Sunday. But we have a good family life there, and it's interestingly enough, it's not easy to bring your friends in too, because there are guest rooms there, and we can have our friends come from home or other places. In terms of Chelsea becoming president, I would be proud if she decided to get into public life, but she says that she doesn't want any part of politics. She's very interested in it. You know, she cares a lot about the issues. We talk about them every day. But she's interested in science. She likes science. She likes math. She likes languages. I don't think she's interested in being in public life.
Do you know what she is interested in being?
I don't think. Well, she's always wanted to be in some sort of science. She's interested in physics. She's interested in aerospace. And she's interested in math. So I think she'll probably be a scientist unless something happens.
Sina, one more question, then we gotta go.
Got any more
Okay.
questions?
If you could make one law for the United States, just one law, what would it be?
I would pass an economic policy that would make our families secure, would give every family a job and health care so that we could have a strong economy. If I could just do one thing, that's what I would do. I think the families of this country would do the right things if they had the ability to do it. And I think if everybody were working and everybody had health security, then I think you'd have a lower crime rate. I think you'd have a lower school dropout rate. I think you'd have less drugs. I think you'd have a lot less problems in this country. So if I could do one thing, that's what I'd do.
Okay, thank you. Well, Sam would like to present to you with a couple of things.
Yeah, we got to get you on television here.
This
Come on.
is from Fairview School, and they hope you would jog in at some time.
I will. And if I do, you'll see it on television.
You're
won't you?
now an honorary staff member.
All right.
And here's
I like that.
this is for Chelsea.
This is your Channel 8 television?
Yeah, it's our partners in education.
Oh, great.
And here's another shirt for you to jog in if you want to sometime.
This is
Thank
for
you. Thank you so much. You guys did a great job today. I'm really proud
I
of you.
hope you liked this interview and it was a little bit easier for you rather than the other ones that you kind of get bugged with
I liked it,
sometimes.
but you asked very good questions.
Thank you.
I hope you'll pursue your interest here. Thank you.
Thank you.